Could Van Ness slip to 18, Alex?
Can Van Ness slip to 18? Yeah, I was still processing that. I think that he could definitely slip to 18. Yeah, I think it's possible. He only put up 17 bench press reps, so if a team is concerned about that potentially, that could be one of the little itty bitty things that puts one really good edge rusher above another one. So it's possible.
Great subscriber here from Paul. He says, Lions, do you guys think that we're going to get a quarterback in free agency? Absolutely. Give it a couple days. They're waiting for the bigger contracts for backup quarterback to go to other teams. Probably around $4 million. What we're looking for a backup quarterback. Just at FYI. And there's still a lot of quality backups out there, bro and Alex. There's a ton of backup quarterbacks.
Uncle Rico.
Yeah, just a ton. Let's see here. So just be patient on that one. Trade back at 6 from Lion and include getting a 4th-round pick in a trade. Do you think that Broshmo, the Lions, could trade out? I do for sure if there's a quarterback there. Like if one slipped to 6. You know, if the Lions say were to go from 6 to 12, what would the comp be? Do you think the Lions would make that type of trade?
Yeah, I'd totally be about it. Again, I mean, if there's a quarterback there, I don't think the Raiders are that team. The Titans kind of feel like potentially they could be that team. I mean, we could throw the Patriots, we could throw the Packers, teams that are unsure if they got their guys. So it just really depends who's there and who'd be willing to trade up. Like, I don't know, it's gonna be tough. It's a tough call because like after Will Anderson's off the board, like who is worth trading up for?
Yeah, I guess we can go like get Jake Moody, draft him at pick 6 or trade up to get the kicker there. I think that'd be a great option. Casey, hashtag Mike or Mike. Lions talk by Chat Sports. I'd prefer Lions trade down for best fair market extra picks and draft BPA. Do you think that's likely best case for Holmes if the makes package deal? If there's a quarterback there, I think they do think about that. I would definitely do that, especially if Will Anderson's gone. Yeah, I mean, you could still get really good value at that pick. Maybe pick up a 2nd-round pick and a 4th-round pick, just depending on how far you go. 100%. Again, we're missing your questions. Copy, paste it. I'm not missing it on purpose. Alex, Lions linebacker Henley at 48. Do you think that he could be an option for Detroit in the 2nd round?
So they don't even start laughing. I would probably direct this one more to Brochmo since he's more of a fan of Diane Henley. I brought on Brendan Jackson, his teammate, onto my show, and obviously the character concerns are they're not character concerns at all. There's big character positives to Diane Henley. He's a really good leader in the locker room. I think he would be a guy that Dan Campbell would like, but personally, I prefer linebackers like Jack Campbell. I prefer guys like Drew Sanders. I prefer other players to Diane Henley, but honestly, any linebacker help is very much welcomed there in Detroit. So I think it'd be a perfectly fine option.
Any linebacker, please.
Any linebacker.
Let's take one, man. It's like it's been so long. We had DeAndre Levy, and we just been sitting here waiting. Man. Derek Biddleman, hashtag FAR, hashtag FGB. We always say hashtag FGB. With Carolina trading with Chicago, who is our next logical trade partner to move back? I think Tennessee Titans could be an option.
Yeah.
Maybe the Raiders. But I think we talked about that earlier. Alex is on board with that. What do you think, Broshmo?
Yeah, I kind of mentioned it earlier. Titans kind of make the most sense. They're really embracing maybe a potential rebuild there. They did take Malik Willis. How much they're really invested in. I mean, obviously he's a 3rd-round pick, so it's like there's not a ton of investments compared to a 1st-round quarterback. So if they want to go ahead and get the 4th best quarterback in this class, then yeah, sure, go right ahead. And honestly, man, probably get good value too in terms of the Lions. You could probably get another 1st-round pick and maybe another day 2 pick.
Yeah, again, there's nothing wrong with picking up some draft picks, and if you pick up some extra 2nd-round picks, you can jump back into the 1st round if there's a talent that you like slipping. And or Emmanuel Forbes, chicken legs. I must say, I love Emmanuel Forbes. I think he's really good, but he is one skinny ass. When I was watching him run, I was like, oh my God, it looks like an ostrich. It's like, poof. But I still think he's a really good prospect. What do you think of
Wish
Alex?
His upper body was that big.
Yeah.
It was chicken leg, but he's a fast guy. What do you think of those two corners? Where do you think they fall? And I want to throw in there Keely Ringo as well. I hear a mixed bag on this guy. You know, where's this guy going to go? What do you think?
Which one? Who's going?
All three. What do you think about Ricks, Ringo, and chicken leg?
Yeah.
Come on, Alex, run this train.
Yeah. Get out of here. So Ringo, man, he's a tough evaluation because that game versus Ohio State exposed him big time. Granted, everybody who plays Ohio State pretty much gets exposed big time. But when you do watch him versus a lot of other players, even Cedric Tillman, he gives up a lot in terms of his man-to-man coverage. He's not very good and very quick twitch when it comes to being able to have somebody guarded within 15 yards. If you have him guarded somebody 15 plus, you bet your ass he's going to be able to have that start-stop ability and have that speed to maintain ground with you. He has an incredible frame. I think he could sneak back into the first because teams love projects, and he definitely is one of those guys, especially after Tariq Woolen at that similar size, at that similar speed, has been doing a really good job in a system that fits him best. I think that other teams will be like, okay, we can have a vertical type of guy rather than a lateral type of guy. But when it comes to chicken legs, Emmanuel Forbes is my number 2 corner. He posted all these pictures about how he's getting big and buff at his training facility. For this man to weigh 166 pounds. Now, I know Mr. Broshmo here still thinks he can play on the outside. But the fact is, physics exist. And the amount of force that a player has to endure between a guy who's like A.J. Brown weigh about 220 pounds going up against a little stick figure like that, you are either going to have to stick him versus the tiniest dude on the entire field, or it's just not going to work, especially if you want a guy to have a long career. And I wish the best for him. He's awesome in coverage. He's willing to put his nose to the football. I hope his playing weight is 175, 180. But I think he'll end up dropping late day 2 just because it's so hard to have the best abilities availability. It's so hard to have someone that size play that long. But Eli Ricks is a weird one.
Though. I got to say, I like Forbes. I've been looking at Forbes since week 4. It's like, man, this guy is pretty good. I agree with you. He's more of a nickel guy. Would you really want to see DK Metcalf and him going at it?
Hell no. That dude's damn near double his weight. It's so, it's so sad. I mean, I would love to. You know, how
let me get the biggest monster and receiver as an example.
It's like look at the picture of like Derrick Henry next to Dion Lewis. I feel like that's the exact same vibe from that. But yeah, I mean, I pray to God that we're all proven wrong and that, you know, Emmanuel Forbes can end up getting his playing weight up and he can actually maintain his physical build and his longevity because he's an awesome player. Eli Ricks is weird because he has some personality concerns in there. Randomly did not play games with Bama, and then you know, he's an interesting player. He's very streaky, but his game versus Mississippi State, awesome. You saw his potential there, and I think he has elite field awareness. I think in a zone coverage heavy scheme, he's going to be maximized. He has good enough length. I think he has good enough athleticism. Not great, but I think that he does have a future in the NFL in the right system.
Overtime 3-3. Can the 2023 Lions be what the Philadelphia Eagles were last season if they hit on most of their draft picks? So taking that next step, going from almost a playoff team to the Super Bowl, Broshmo.
That's asking a lot from Jared Goff, but become Jalen Hurts. But yeah, no, definitely. This is a team I think on the up and up. They proved last year they're a playoff caliber team. Jared Goff stepped up his play huge, but I mean we've seen that in the past too. He took the Rams to the Super Bowl for goodness sake. But I think he's like the perfect bridge quarterback at this point. Like he is a guy that is going to be able to effectively run your offense, and he's going to have them streaky plays. Get him the weapons. They already did it they got Amon-Ra St. Brown. They got Williams, and I'm a huge fan of James Mitchell as like a tight end too, or even like a big slot dude. That dude's a dog, bro.
So good.
Oh man,
so good.
But like, I'll say another receiver like.
Yeah, no, you can finish first.
I was going to say I love the idea of like Quentin Johnston, like to the Lions. I think that Dude, it's literally better DJ Chark.
That'd be nice.
That's an expensive price to pay
big
for
body, vertical threat,
Chark.
guy that can create after the catch, turn upfield quick. I know he wasn't physical this year, but go to his 2021 tape. He has that dog in him.
He's a beast. I'll say this. I think it's actually almost imperative if there is a QB on the board, trade with the Titans. Get that future first-round pick, because if you do think that Goff is a bridge quarterback, that's your almost golden ticket to get another top 5 selection. And in next year's quarterback class, if you want to get rid of your bridge quarterback, you are pretty much having like the gates of heaven open up to you. And you can do that for free while challenging for a Super Bowl. See how the Eagles have a top 10 pick, even though they're in the Super Bowl? That's a very similar situation. And I think there's a lot more wrong with Tennessee than there is with the Saints last year. So you very well could be getting a top pick for them just to go after a quarterback and then absolutely blow it.
Hey, look, I can see them being a team that's butt cheeks. You know, Tannehill with Derrick Henry potentially getting shipped out of there.
Yep.
Yeah, the
I don't
Tennessee
think Mike
Henrys.
Vrabel will let them be complete butt cheeks.
Yeah,
that's true. He won't let them be.
He's like mini Mike Tomlin, dude. He will carry that team to 500, whether they like it or not.
And we'll trade with Arizona Cardinals with Gannon, the weirdo. Yo, that dude's a weirdo. He looks like Pee Wee Herman. I see his interviews, and I'm like, this is a one-year guy. He's fired next year. Dude's a creepo. I think he's got a van that's all rusty and white. It says free candy on this mug, and it parks right by an elementary school.
They kept Cliff way too long, man.
They did.
Gannon's going to be there for a few years.
Yeah.
Hey, they want to keep him over there, they can, man. They definitely could. They keep all that over there. Or we got Oren here says, #Lions thoughts on drafting Hendon Hooker or other quarterbacks in the later rounds. Bro, what do you think about Hendon Hooker, or what is another quarterback the Lions could look to acquire? You know, because we don't have a 4th-round pick, but we got 1 5th and 2 6th.
Man, see, like the drop off at quarterback in this class, man, it's kind of huge. You have like your tier 1 of guys like the Levis, Richardson, Stroud, Young, and then you're looking at Hooker. You're looking at a guy I like, Tanner McKee, who not that mobile, but this is a dude that can definitely work the quick passing game. He's got pinpoint accuracy. He's basically where Mac Jones should have been drafted. So like a 3rd round guy.